Welcome to the NEKO Alpha. Welcome to episode 5, bringing you the Japan related alpha and more from the United Neko Alliance headquarters here in Tokyo.
Our decentralized headquarters.
We're all in different places in Tokyo, so we are decentralized.
So I'm Reno here with Steve and Neil.
Hey, everyone.
Hey guys, great to be back again.
We are your hosts for the NEKO Alpha show. And please remember, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. This is commentary, info sharing, entertainment, and stuff. So let's jump right in. Neil, take it away.
Yeah, so before we get into the alpha, I just want to say a little bit about Japan NFTs in general. So I've been mentioning on Twitter that Japan NFTs are about to explode. And this is really, we're seeing NFTs in the news every day on very mainstream shows. We're seeing announcements by companies, celebrities, and just so many little projects cropping up. But if you look at these projects, one of the things you're going to notice is a lot of the collections, especially, are really small, really tentative type projects. And I think this is really typical about how new waves of technology hit Japan. So that there's never a lag in information typically for the sort of early movers, but the moving it into the mainstream can be quite tentative. So for you DGens or people looking for real alpha, you might come over and look at some of these small collections and think, oh, this is really small. This is not happening. This is illiquid. But I think the thing to be cognizant of is that this is real alpha. This is where the DGen play is, to sort of keep an eye on this really early stuff, because I think the speed with which this could really become big is going to be quite surprising. And some of these small collections now are going to be the genesis projects of pretty major NFT artists very soon. And so, from our point of view, from the NEKO, for what we do with NEKO-ALPHA, we're really looking for the projects and the creators that are trying to use some English and trying to engage with the world and trying to bring their NFTs to the world. Okay, jumping into the alpha here, our first project this week is Sushi and Punks. And you can see here we've got OpenSea showing, and it's just a nice kind of fresh take on a punk derivative with introducing all the different kinds of sushi. And they're sort of labeled in English. And it's a very small number in the collection so far, 18 items. But going to the Twitter here, so the OpenSea page was in English, the Twitter's mostly Japanese. But we see here this recent tweet in Japanese says that there's going to be a giveaway. There's a new collection coming. Not a new collection, but I think it's just adding to the collection. I'm now not sure. But he mentions wasabi. So there's this little wasabi character, and this is happening on the 26th. So that's coming very soon. And I think it's a follow and a retweet to get in on the contest. So a nice little project there. So this is what I was referring to earlier. A lot of these small projects are popping up. And so moving right along, we've got this page here called NFTranking.jp, NFT collection ranking in Japan. So this is Japan related projects. My understanding is that I think the maker of this page is finding projects, but also getting contacted by creators asking to get added. And there's 2,000 projects in this list, which tells you a lot about the volume that's starting to happen. But I think you can see here, I've got the volume for 7 days in the first column there. And you can see once you scroll down just a little bit, that the volume gets pretty low. And here we go down to like, if we go down to like number 50 in the ranking, you're down to like, half an ETH per week. So, and it gets even, even lower as you get further down. But still very interesting to see this ranking. And I think this is going to be a good place to keep our eye on. Because I think we'll see some big changes in sort of the volume and the size of the project. So this will be a good place for us to keep an eye on that, and a good place for you guys to keep an eye on if you're interested in Japan-related projects. So we'll also reach out to the owner of this page, kanepu.eth. Says tweets in Japanese, but also in English. We've got some mentions of, what are the top 3 by volume currently, some of those kinds of tweets. So we'll definitely reach out to Kanipu and see if we can have a chat with him at some point. So moving on to the next thing I thought we'd look at is, if you look at the ranking here, the 7-day volume, the number 1 spot is pretty far and away ahead of everything else. You can see a 578 ETH for 7-day volume on people in the place they love. So I thought we'd have a quick look at that project. So let's jump into that. So this project, People in the Place They Love, is by Yusuke Hanai. So Yusuke is a Japanese artist. He lives in San Francisco. He's been there for a long time. And here's the project on OpenSea. It's called People in the Place They Love, and it's done together with Team Fwen Club. Apparently, it's based on a bar that's no longer exists, but a place that Yusuke used to work at when he was younger. And here's some of the art. So this, there's 1K items, but there's apparently going to be 3K. So it's going to be dropped in the first 1,000 dropped, and the next, so it's going to be 3 phases, another 1,000 each for the next 2 phases. And here on either scan, we can see that this dropped, it minted at 1 ETH. So that's a pretty ambitious price. And going back to the, where was our sales here, you can see that the floor is 5 ETH. So that's really, it's done really well. It's very successful mint. Here's Yusuke's Instagram. That seems to be his main channel. He doesn't have a Twitter as far as I can find. You can see on here that here's example, board shorts. He has a 1-panel comic called Board Shorts that's about surfing and surfers. So I think he's pretty well known in some circles. So this is a little article on Hypebeast about announcing the drop, and Yusuke is doing this with all rights reserved as the company, and they're the ones that run Fwen Club. It mentions here that he was inspired by Jack Kerouac, Grateful Dead, counterculture movement of the 60s, and Hanai references a now defunct bar that the artist used to work and hang out with his friends. And here's a little bit more about Fwen Club. When they debuted on Discord, breaking Discord's record as the fastest growing community in Asia. I think they're Hong Kong based. They got a bunch of celebrities to join the Discord, and that helped them roar to 100,000 members in less than 36 hours. They maxed out at 250,000 recently, and just had to get Discord to upgrade them to so they're good to go to up to 500,000. So the huge Discord there happening for Fwen Club. But from what we hear, Yusuke is not really into NFTs himself, so this was done as a collaboration, and I think Fwen Club handled everything. So it's a good example of an artist collaborating with someone who knows what they're doing with NFTs and how to promote it and how to get this sold. It it kind of reminds me a little bit of Murakami working with Clone X. Okay, next I'm going to just revisit one of our projects from last week that we introduced. We introduced Kohei Uchimura. There was a one-of-one drop on OpenSea. That auction is still ongoing. But looking here, we see it looks like the reserve's not met, and there's 1 day left. But there could be some buyers just waiting. You know, auctions often really get fire up at the very end, so could just be waiting for the last few minutes. We'll check on that later. But I did notice an interesting thing going back to Fwen Club with their 250,000 folks on Discord. They also did a Japanese sports personality, Yuto Horigomi, who got a gold medal in the Olympics for skateboarding. They did a one-of-one drop for him. And this was a few weeks ago, I think, but when I was trying to find if that got sold, it looked like it says by inquiry, and clicking on this goes to Google form and says, you know, why are you buying this, corporate, individual, and what's your sealed bid? So maybe they're still looking to sell that too. Don't know what that tells you, but maybe trying to sell a one-on-one of a sports personality is not that easy, even if you got 250,000 people on the Discord. So keeping it short this week, that's our alpha.
Yeah, so many projects and so many things happening, and I'm really looking forward to looking at new projects as they bubble under the surface and come up here in Japan. So just to kind of wrap up the episode, the last thing we usually do is talk a little bit about our own project. And on that note, I got a question from somebody, and it was about the 20 families that we've put together, that Reno, our artist, has put together. You know, what's been the inspiration, and how are you kind of coming up with those 20 families?
Yeah, that's a good question. So as people who've been following us know, there in our collection for the United Neko Alliance, there are 20 families of Nekos across the 5,555 PFPs that we're going to be dropping. The reason it came up to 20 was it was sort of organic the way I got to that. I had a few existing sort of what are now families, but there were existing designs that I was working on years ago, like even 5, 6 years ago. And I would just tinker around with those from time to time. But last year, when we decided to chase this project, I just got to thinking about, you know, how do we differentiate these? How can we categorize them? Is that interesting? And I got the idea to just talk to a bunch of friends, and like I showed them like the base idea of like, here's what a Japanese Moneki Neko, the sort of the lucky cat. Here's what a standard one looks like. So if you could design one yourself, or if you wanted it to be this color that you like, or have this kind of ears. So I gave him like a handful of questions, like tell me what you'd like, tell me what you think. So so from a number of friends, I got that feedback, and then developed the individual family out based on their feedback. Sometimes following it pretty closely, sometimes definitely not following it at all. But it still resulted in an interesting family. And then a handful of them were just stuff I wanted to do because I wanted to. Like the Robo Neko stuff, like I always knew there was going to be the Robo Nekos, and the Mecha Nekos. I really wanted to make those. So as it all started coming together, it was like, oh, we're going to have 20 families. That's sort of that's perfect. So that's the story. It just sort of organically came together to be 20. And if you're looking at the screen right now, you can see there are three distinct styles there. On the left is actually a special case. That is a one-off. Steve's Sunrock PFP there is a one of one. There is no family into which that Neko fits. It is completely unique. And interesting fun fact, it is the skinniest of all the Nekos. Not quite as chubby as the rest of them.
I really love what you did with my piece, and really appreciate giving me a skinny Neko.
Yeah.
I am a marathoner, or try to be, uh, so appreciate that.
Yeah, it seemed appropriate, you know. And of course, with running shoes, currently you are the only your Neko is the only one with running shoes, and also those sunglasses are pretty unique to you as well. So yeah, that one's fitting. The one on the right is called the Agent, and that is a proper family of Nekos that exists in the collection, and has that sort of perturbed yet determined look on the face. Uh, and then in the middle is actually it's not a Neko family, but it's a class of Nekos that spans the entire family. They're called imposters, and that is Neil's current PFP. And they are imposters because, well, maybe they aren't cats. What kind of animal are they? The clue's right in front of you. So figure it out. One last note on this, and then I'll stop talking about Nekos, is that all of us who have our own custom PFPs, we will be giving them up. We will be letting go of them and putting them into the lot for the mint when that happens. So that's a little quick update, a little bit of information on the artwork and where it all comes from. And yeah, I can sort of stop talking about that for now, and I think we'll wrap up the episode. So yeah, send it back to Neil. Talk us out, yeah?
Thanks, Reno. So, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the like, and also follow our Twitter, and join our Discord. So we have discussion going on in our general chat always, and we have a channel dedicated to NEKO-ALPHA where we will usually post the alpha there before it hits our YouTube. And we've got some other cool channels too. You might want to check out one called JP Your Name. So that's Japanify Your Name. If you want to put your name in there, or any nickname you want, we will turn it into Japanese using katakana characters, and we've done some pretty cool things already with a few names. So check that out, and see you next week.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Guys.